Do you overthink your decisions or you just trust your gut? Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cut to the Chase with B. Today we're going to talk about a subject that many of us struggle with every single freaking day. And I know that why, because I struggle with it too often. Now answer this question. Do you overthink every single decision that you're making, or you just go with your gut and you trust your gut? Now, there are many subjects to this subject actually, because one, that trusting your gut can be a tricky thing to do when you're an anxious person. Not person. When you're an anxious person, you tend to not trust your gut more often. And when you realize that you need to trust your gut more often, you face this struggle that, is this my anxious voice inside my head, or is this my freaking gut? It's a tough gut. And we all know that. But there is a way to actually distinguish between the two. And the only way is that you start to become less anxious. And I know that it sounds so stupid right now, but it can work over time. Because you could never, I personally used to be a very super freaking anxious person, and I can tell you, there were no way that I could actually trust my gut, that I could actually say that it was my gut to trust it in the first place, and to distinguish between the two, my gut and my anxious voice in my head. Over the time, I practiced a lot to become less anxious, and I now actually can distinguish and know that it's my gut. But here's the second problem that we're facing. I don't trust it. Because most of the time, I feel like, what if I face this question? What if I'm making a mistake? What if this gut is actually a mistake? So I face this problem too often in my life. And I actually don't know what to do and what to decide. Because I know that when you don't trust your gut over the time, it's going to really affect your self-esteem, your confidence in yourself, and you're going to be less confident. Because many times your gut told you something and you didn't listen to it. Now, right now, I'm making a decision that I've actually made it before, but right now I'm overthinking it and I'm doubting my gut, and I don't know, is this my fear talking or is this my gut talking? I really don't know that yet. So how do I know? How do I make this decision? Because I don't want this decision be based on fear. And I know that this decision isn't based on love either. And this is actually a technique that I use sometimes to make decisions. I say, okay, is this freaking decision based on fear? Then it's not a good decision. Sometimes fear is actually good for you. Sometimes fear makes you make great decisions. Like when you're crossing the street, the fear of dying and getting hit by a car makes you make better decisions and wait a little bit longer and actually be more careful. But that decision is actually not based on fear. That decision, when you're crossing the street, is based on love for your life, love for yourself, love for the person in the car, because you don't want to hurt them either, because if they hit you, they're going to go through so many fucked up shits. One F-word a video is fine, seriously. Then, it's not based on fear. So, that's good fear. I say that's more of a love. But when you make a decision based on fear, most of the time, it's not a fucking good decision. That was too F-word. Okay. But it's actually a decision that will ruin your self-esteem, because deep down you knew that you don't want to make this decision and this decision is not for you, but you make it anyway because you're afraid of many things. So that's not a good decision. And I know that. And now that I'm talking to you, I'm processing the decision that I want to make, and I know that I'm making this decision based on absolute fucking fear. But again, I tell myself, what if it's based on love? What if it's like sent from the universe? But deep down, I know that based on my personality, based on who I am, the universe is actually not sending this for me. And then I overthink and I say, oh my gosh, I have something in my eye. Then I overthink and I say, what if it's coming from like the negative side of the universe, and it's actually taking me off the track and causing me trouble. And I know that it might be troublemaking, but still I'm afraid of not making this decision because of fear. And I know what that fear is, but I don't want to tell it online. But I don't know. But it's not about me. Like, seriously. This video is not about me. This video is about you. I'm asking you because we're besties. We're online besties and we gotta help each other out. Do you overthink your decisions, or you just go with your gut? And if you go with your gut and you trust your gut, just tell me your freaking secret. Like, how do you trust it? One of the things that I know that would make you trust your gut more often is that you actually make decisions based on your gut feelings, and you know that you see over the time that that decision was actually the right one. And another way is that you don't make decisions based on your gut feeling, and over the time you actually realize that you should have, and the decision based on your gut feeling was actually the right one and your gut was right. Either way, you're going to know it. And right now, I know that I should trust my gut. But, oh god, it's tricky, it's hard. Anyways, that's all for today. That's all I have to say. And I hope to see you in the next one. Subscribe to my channel. And I love you guys. Tell me, what do you want me to talk about? What are your dilemmas? And what are your questions? And what do you want to know more about? I love you guys because you're my online besties. This is your kiss. And bye.